Hello, welcome to Line War. Today we have Hawk facing off against Valithor. Valithor and Hawk are quite close together. They're not that far apart at all. So, I'd also like to say a big thank you to absolutely everyone who's helped me. We've managed to achieve 1,000 subscribers and I'm awaiting monetization approval, I think it is. So, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that. With Hawk, who is blue, we have 2 airfields, and he's going for a bit of eco, a town, and these, I think, barracks and a factory. So he's quite diverse at the beginning of the game. On the other hand, we have Valithor, who is going 2 barracks, 2 factory. Keeping 500 in the background for now. Got a random blue command there, which looks like nothing's attached to it, which is fair enough. Oh, he's got some more structures up in the top here. Notice how he's placing them in the forest, other than these ones, but he's got 2 in the forest here. I think that one's classed as in the forest, and 2 in the mountains. That is for stealth. He is trying to do a bit of sneaky play by the seams of it, or at least defensive. Hawk is going for 2 strikers. You can tell the backs of them are black. They've got the black bars on the back. The afterburners, I believe they are. Hawk is just trying to expand, and he is expanding directly towards Valithor right now. And he's trying to take over this area with a little less units, which is probably because he's assuming Valithor is this way. So he wants more of an army this way to begin the match. Valithor is spreading out. He's doing snake lines. He's like me, he makes loads of snakes. That way he can just leave it and they'll expand forever. Either one works. I think Hawk's works a bit better, but it requires a bit more management over time. Sounded like a striker was done. Yep. They got one random guy trying to capture a mountain all by himself. You go. You can do it, I'm sure. Another one over here. He's expanding directly across. These mountains in the middle might actually turn out to be quite hard to break because you'll be moving slower across these mountains, and if either one are using artillery, the air units actually might be more valuable here, and they have spotted each other by now. Hawk and Valithor can now see each other. Well, technically Valithor can't really see Hawk until now because of the mountains, but you can see the land's being taken. Hawk is trying to retreat, which makes sense. He's going for some energy, I think. I think that was a well, it looks like it. See, maybe he should have kept these back. He doesn't have too many of them. So he's revealing what he's got so that Valithor could respond to it quite easier. Whereas if he just left them, tried to take them out another way, I don't know if there was another way really. Just pointing out the fact that he's revealing he's got air units. And Valithor was already building SAM anyway, so it doesn't matter, I suppose. Looks like Valithor's going for the classic RT and SAM combination, backed up by some infantry. The SAM units are moving in now with the blue commands. I don't think that striker's going to last much longer if it stays that. But they got an artillery. Is he going to run away? Yeah, he made it out. That was a good trade, I think, for Hawk. However, Valithor has already gone for SAM quite early on, so he's already countered Hawk. And now he knows to build more. Hawk knows this energy well is going to be a high priority, so he's put a SAM unit there just to defend it for a while. Just in case Valithor is trying to use any air tactics. Hawk is expanding quite nicely. He does have some eco already from the town. And he's trying to expand up and around and behind his base, so he's putting pressure on Valithor. Valithor is also doing the same up here, but is he still expanding this way? Kind of. Yeah, he is. He's doing it the slow way, but they'll go through it fast because there's more units together. Those units aren't going to last much longer, so that'll put an end to that expanding there. It looks like Hawk has about 6 strikers now. And I don't know how they'll fare against against 4 SAM units. But we'll have to see how it goes, because the best thing to do is not to address them, it's to go round them, really. Unless you can keep catching them off in small groups like this, then you can keep their numbers down. Oh, we've got commandos. He's got some sneaky commandos going through the forest up in the north. I think that's what he's mainly producing now. You can tell they're being produced because they're the white jacket guys. The ones with the white jackets are the commandos that come through. Now, commando isn't necessarily cost effective against riflemen, because although they can beat them one-on-one, they cost, I think, twice the amount? I can't really remember. Might have changed by now, though, but when I did the math, I think it was twice the amount. But the riflemen can shoot 2 at the same time, so one's not taking damage. However, their value doesn't necessarily come from their fighting ability. It's definitely more to do with their stealth and being able to get past the front lines and taking out the energy production. And those strikers took out the SAM pretty easily by the looks of it. However, he's definitely got a few more now. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think he's doing alright. All he's got to do is keep back the artillery with the strikers and he should be perfectly fine. And it looks like that's exactly what he's going to be trying to do. 2 airfields with strikers, as long as well maintained and the energy isn't a problem, should be a good enough defense to hold off most things. Sorry about that. And I'm back. Valithor is going for an airfield up in the north, hidden by the forest. And it looks like he's going all out on SAM units now. With his factory production. Some just came out, he's building some more. And those strikers are looking to attack the north. And because of their numbers, they can see through the stealth of the commandos. Cumulative vision is what detects the stealth from this. Yeah, and those commandos are out. Did he get them all, though? Because they can still sort of sneak by. And yeah, I think he got them all. Unfortunately for Valithor. So what would be the next plan? So those units are getting destroyed up there by the strikers. It looks like Valithor is pretty much just going for SAM units, which is good. He really needs to take out all of those strikers. Back again, sorry, I'm in a busy house. Some more commanders are sneaking through. The command lines are still set there, so those strikers are going to have to keep maintaining a back and forth attack to try and stop those commandos. Which is exactly what's going to happen. But Hawk has sent some up that way as well, and they're catching the commandos out there. But they don't have enough vision to spot the stealth all the time, so they're still getting hidden. Which means they're getting some free hits on those infantry. However, I think the trade up here is pretty much doing alright for Hawk. But I don't think he's too worried about losing a few infantry. But he does know the dangers of commandos, so he's not letting them get through. How's our expanding doing? So he's got some more energy down here. And he is still expanding the map, but he's done really well at capturing most of the land around here. He's capturing it quite methodically. And Valithor is still capturing land. Taking them one at a time with the snake pattern. But it does look like Hawk was able to take more land faster doing the way he expands. I thought that was quite an interesting thing to take note of, because they are expanding differently. What is their economy at this point? So, Valithor has 920 every minute, and it doesn't look like it's got any eco structures, unless I'm missing any, so it's just from territory by the looks of it. Whereas Hawk does have one from the eco, and he's left out the rest. That's it, yep. So he has 929. Maybe their expanse is about equal. Just looks bigger. We have an engagement down here, right in front of the SAM units, and they are not taking off in front of this many SAM units. In front of the strikers, I meant. They're not taking off in front of the SAM. But those artillery aren't going to stand up much against these SAM units. And someone mentioned on Discord that it's always best to attack the airfields coming from this angle. So the person on the left has a disadvantage because they have to move that way and come off. Suggested that they could go either way, maybe change the direction, which I thought was a good idea. It is a valid point. But it also saved him in this one because then he wouldn't be able to take off that way going towards the SAM, so... it works both ways, I guess. Those strikers are doing all of the work, and there's an interceptor. Just noticed. They're doing all the work for Hawk in this one right now. And Hawk is just using his main army, or what most people would use for the assault, to defend with instead. And he's pulling them back. Hawk's just trying to keep vision right now, make sure he knows what's going on, and taking out, chipping away slowly at Valithor. There's two random people. Kind of reminds me of those antique robot fighting toys. The head pops up. Red versus blue. Who's going to win? Blue, I think. Yeah. Sorry, Valithor. I meant, you know, don't worry. Those commandos are coming in. He spotted the barracks and the factory. He's going to try and take him out with the commandos. Sneakily going through. Can Valithor see them? He can't. No, he cannot see that. So there's commandos about here right now that Hawk cannot see. And Valithor's going to get some damage in there by the looks of it. There you go. He can see them now. He's popped up on screen. Hawk managed to get some through. Where are those strikers going? Ah, they're going down there. And he spotted a structure for his own to take out. Those strikers are definitely going to destroy that building. And those commandos are just walking straight past. Which means they're going to take damage from the artillery a lot easier. But they are focused firing on that. I think that's a strike command, isn't it? Yes. Oh, and his strikers are coming now as well to take out some factories. This is a lot of hit and run tactics. Sneaky, stealthy stuff going on right now. But I do think Hawk has enough SAM to deal with it, but will he respond in time? Where are his SAM units? They're over here, so they are moving. They're on the move. But Hawk does also have some interceptors, so he can defend this with a pretty rapid response, so it's not just Sam that he's got. Those commandos took out the barracks and he's lost a factory up here. Hawk's just realised he had 1,000 saved up, so he's spending that right now. Those strikers will definitely take out those SAM units. There's only one left. That's what you want to do. You want to catch them in small groups, try and take them out slowly. And that way you can focus on this big army when there's less SAM there, because you're taking out the SAM already. So what is Valithor up to? He's definitely got some units up there. You can see him taking over the land. This is sort of guerrilla tactics right now. Little hits in any place that you can find it. Any place you can get through, just send a force in, pull him back. Send a force in again. Constantly keeping up pressure and confusing the enemy. Commando's been spotted there by Hawk. Is there any naval play yet? None at all. I think they're going to focus on land in this. I wouldn't say this was a choke point, but kind of. Bit of a dogfight up here. We got some strikers versus strikers, but I do think that there must be an interceptor somewhere, surely, because I know Hawk had one. Valithor has a force going forward now. Artillery mixed with SAM and some infantry, so this is going to be a pretty strong attacking force. Hawk is bringing up his army that was hidden in the mountains over here. Try and take them out of the side as they come in. Placing the strikers here wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea, but those SAM might do a lot of damage to him, so that's Hawk's decision, really. It looks like Hawk's just pushing through over here, so he's letting some go through. But if these commandos take out this airfield, which it looks like that's what he's trying to do, that could be really bad for Hawk. He's brought in his strikers now for more chaos. Valithor might be spreading himself out a bit too thin right now, but he's trying to distract and get some things in to defend. It seems very organised. He's expecting these air units to respond up here, I think. That's why he's got these up. Can Hawk see them? Yes, he can, quite easily. This has turned out to be quite a big battle. It looks like Hawk is trying to expand down over here as well. He's taking some land from Valithor, which not only increases his economy, but it's taken away Valithor's economy. But I do think Valithor spread himself out a bit too thin, and now Hawk may have the advantage. If he pushes through in the north with these units, and these units, the SAM are kind of trapped between them, so if he sent the SAM towards space this way, which he might be doing, I'm not sure what he's doing. He's probably just protecting himself. It looks like Hawk might have the ability to push forward now. Valithor's Air Force coming back into play. Another building goes down. It does look like Valithor's taking or dealing a lot of damage right now, but I am concerned he has used too much of his force, unless Hawk has run out of his force too. defending. It's just expanse. He's building up a force over here again. Well, I don't know, mind. I think Valithor has organised himself pretty well. So he does have a small force up here. He is pretty exposed in the middle, but Hawk doesn't know that. And those strikers could probably deal with it before it becomes too much of an issue. But this is definitely a target I would hit with the air units right now. They're pretty exposed to air, as far as I can see. Where's Hawk sending those? He's trying to find targets now. He is actively seeking engagement. This game does get a bit messy with the lines when they're left around, don't they? And he has definitely found some targets for him to destroy. Those Sam just were not effective enough at taking out those strikers. This is quite an interesting fight, strikers versus strikers. They're not very good at taking each other out, but they do have anti-air capabilities. He's found an airfield as well. That must be a new one. That wasn't there before. Yeah, that's the 4th airfield. I wouldn't be surprised if he was going interceptor there. I can't tell, but it looks like an interceptor. He wants more anti-air capability against Hawk strikers. The northern battle has been going well for Valithor at least. It's been able to push through a bit more. But Hawk has increased his presence up here with a lot more factories. So whether he's going to get through or not, I don't really know. But Hawk doesn't want to divert his strikers up there. He's trying to put pressure on Valithor instead. This is becoming a base trade game now. Who can do the most damage to the opponent's base? Those strikers just looks like a swarm of very angry hornets. There will be losses from this. Even if they're not very good at taking out the air units, they do have a lot of strikers there to take out Hawk strikers. Right, 2 went down there, I think. Hawk's got 1 SAM unit just helping out, chipping away at them. And it looks like the SAM are rushing through the artillery over here. Hawk may defend this. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to survive it. But the air units are coming in to defend. Hawk has diverted his attention away. But it looks like he's sending ground units in now, so he was able to defend with the air units over here. Now Hawk is sending over ground units to attack, but he definitely doesn't have enough to fight that many air units. Oh, I know what that is. He is building a nuke. It is pretty hard to destroy them with nukes, but like air units especially. But if you take out the airfield, that should be enough, and they'll fly off and blow up on their own because they run out of fuel. Valithor is just swarming Hawk right now. And he's going to lose his energy. He has. Wait, he had an energy well down here. Which has also been blown up by the looks of it. Does that mean Valithor managed to get some units down there? No? Yes. Some commandos snuck through and Valithor has been taking the land from Hawk this whole time as well. Valithor has a lot of energy built up by the looks of it. Not that I can find them. There's 1, 2. Took him a little longer to find it, but they are energy. They're not power plants, so they're doing a lot better. This one's in a bit of a risky location. And he has defended it somehow. I assume Hawk just hasn't noticed, but they are kind of like reverse stealth. Oh, he's got a city now. Hawk's economy should be doing really well soon. Yeah, so Hawk can see that energy, but he's not worried about it. But if Hawk wants to fire this nuke in about, I don't know, 5 minutes, then he definitely needs to sort out his energy, because he's going to need something back. Even if it's just one power plant, just to fund the nuke. But until he sorts out his energy, his air force is grounded as well. And Valithor's airfield is still operational really well as well. They aren't worried about energy at all. Those strikers just ran through that like raining acid. Oh no. This is not good for Hawk. Valithor has targeted Hawk's airfields. While they are down, they cannot respond. And he only has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 SAM units to defend that. And with the amount of air units that Valithor has, he could actually make good trades here. But I think the opportunity for that has ended since these SAMs are moving in to intercept between the two targets. The north battle has done well. Hawk is now pushing back up in the north. And by the looks of it, plans to take out this energy well and whatever else remains in the way. Something I'd like to see is formation from strikers. Maybe they fly off and then regroup together and then fly off as one. Because some of them stray off too early or too late and get taken out by the strikers. Valithor has seen this and has responded really fast with his air force, which has twice the numbers now maybe? How many airfields has he got? 1, 2, 3, 4, still 4. Fair enough. He is swarming the enemy. With this many units so close, he might actually be able to spot the nuke, which I think is here. Yeah, it's being built now as well. So he does have a nuke on the way, and I don't think Valithor has seen it yet. Nope. That, he spotted it now. It's just showing up on his screen. So he can he can now see that nuke is being built. But whether he's actually spotted it is a different story. Will he actually try to take that out before it goes off? Looks like Valithor was still able to hold this energy well. Despite it being in such a risky location, it's provided energy for his army for quite a long time. And a Hawk has been unable to take it out. It doesn't look like Valithor is too worried about that nuke right now. He's more worried about the army hidden in the forest over here. But there was Sam there ready to take him out. One striker went down there at least. He's got strikers, not strikers, Sam hidden in the mountain over here as well. Stopping those interceptors. We have an army from Valithor trying to get in through the bottom. I think he's trying to hope to take out these airfields, find a weakness. A small spot to get in. All the focus has been here. Something that could have been interesting would have been to send some units down here and have just one production. Juicing all units, try and get them out. It looks like Hawk has noticed that commanders have snuck through down here. And are now building up in the bottom, just like I was saying, it'd be interesting. Anyway, these strikers are going for their airfields again. He's taken one out. And the other has no units on it. But if Hawk can't replace that quick enough, I don't know if that works. If he replaces the airfield quick enough, will they just return to the new airfield? Or do they just fly off and die still anyway? I'm not 100% sure. Those strikers made it back. It's got the commandos trying to target the barracks behind and our factories. But, right, so Hawk has a higher economy, I assume. So Valithor's got 1,430. And Hawk, because he's got a city, maybe he's got more. Yes, he does. 1,600. So Hawk has a higher economy. He's fixed his energy now. And the nuke is ready. So what's he going to do with that nuke? It looks like Hawk is finally going to take out this energy well. He is saving that nuke for a bit later. Doesn't seem to be any other fights going on right now. Just this one up in the north. The strikers are coming in to defend it, but they didn't defend that energy well long enough. Or quick enough. But there is a lot of SAM over here. Will that be a big enough SAM group to take out these strikers? I don't think it will. But it's certainly going to take out a few of them. Getting a few extra shots off over there. They're being attacked by commandos, but anti-air do actually have guns to take out the infantry, so they're not too bad at taking out infantry, but it's not their primary role. Why do we have a C unit command there? Has anyone got C units? Still no? It's interesting. So it looks like Hawk still noticed this and he's still trying to address it, but he hasn't spotted the structures yet, which are hidden in the forest. He's just building barracks. He's trying to save up his units. We got a tank on the field. We got more tanks up here as well. Nice. So he switched into tanks. Trying to rush some tanks through. Maybe to try and find the airfields. I'm not really sure. He's definitely found one of them, but the others are a bit further away than that, so... I do think this is for a scout, to be honest. He needs to find somewhere good to hit with his nuke. But the tanks aren't going to last much longer against these strikers. Looks like Valithor is taking him out with a large army in the mountains right now. Just trying to push on through. Looks like he's going to be able to do a lot of damage here unless Hawk can bring out his strikers again. I don't know how many he's got. I know he's got one airfield left. Did he build any more? I don't think he did. It does have a lot of units up here doing nothing. Just been forgotten about. But Hawk is not in a good position right now. He's got a big air force to deal with that keeps coming in and harassing. And he's got a large army going through the mountains, tearing up where his main location was. But those rockets are probably going to save the day this time. There's not enough anti-air to take out that rocket, so that is going to land. And he takes out pretty much everything except for one lonely SAM unit here. A couple of infantry laying at the back. Ah, this is why he was building up such a big army. So he's got these producing, they get put on these airstrips. It gives them extra range, and airstrips don't produce, but the airfields do. So filling up your airstrips allows you to carry on producing when you've got less airfields. Saves you a bit of money too. The striker's just doing a test fly, make sure everything's working. He's building up his forces back in this location. And if I was Valithor, I'd probably be doing a method to try and get this out. Trying to strategy, a tactic, I don't know what it's called. Trying to get that nuke gone with some commandos. anything really. It's got some more tanks moving in, but again, they're not going to survive very long against the strikers. Unless Valithor hasn't noticed the tanks and forgets to place them. But no, he's got them going. It's going to be one large circle of centipede planes. The striker centipede. And they're gone. I don't see much point in building tanks in this situation of the game. Most of Valithor's forces are air units that take out tanks. And I know that Hawk has a lot of anti-air. But what he wants to do is maybe put tanks here so that he thinks maybe he gets a free hit and then he gets hit by all these SAM units. I don't know. Lure him into a trap. But it looks like Valithor wasn't able to build up his army quick enough in this area. He should have brought them back a bit more and built them up back at his base and then sent them forward again, maybe. Because now he's being attacked from multiple angles. And those tanks are getting really close to his artillery. But are they going to be supported? It looks like the strikers are coming in to take out this army. I, to be honest, think these are much more powerful than a nuke. I don't see a lot of anti-air. There's some here. But with the amount of strikers Valithor has, I think he's going to be fine for a little bit to just tear them up. There's a bit of an assault going up here with the commandos breaking through. Yeah, the SAM units holding back behind the line means that they're not taking any damage and they're able to fire in a lot more ammo at the enemy. But those SAM units are not going to survive against the tank, I don't think. It has taken a lot of damage. No, that one blew it up, well done. But there's another tank coming in, so he's still going to die, I think. What does Valithor have coming in? He's got a stream of units coming straight into this area, which I don't think you should be doing. You need to pull them up, build them up, and then send them. You can't keep sending your units in one at a time. They just get torn up. Bit of fighting going on all over the place, and it looks like Hawk is pushing back. Let's have a look if Hawk has found that forest. He doesn't look like he has, but he has spotted it, at least at some point. He has seen that Valithor has built some barracks. But it looks like Valithor is controlling this area. And those forgotten units are not so forgotten anymore. Actually came in useful to build them up. Strikers are coming back in from the north to tackle this army again. Now that they're a bit further away, they are further from the SAM units, so they should be able to do more damage than last time. That is just raining fire down on top of this army. But Hawk is bringing his SAM units into this line to try and help defend his units. And the strikers are not retreating at this point. I would consider retreating with the amount of SAM units coming in, because you're going to start losing them pretty fast now. They'll start dropping like flies. He is retreating, maybe a little too late, but they are going to be fine. Just one down. Well, there's a few down, but just one down at the last minute. We have a stream of artillery flowing in there. Looks like Hawk won in the north, which is a bit concerning for Valithor, because he's got airstrips here, which Hawk can now see one of them. And we do have a slow-moving army, and a little strike force going forward, probably to try and take out this. Those SAM units are probably going to take it out quite easily. Does he have his nuke built yet? He does. He's got a nuke built again. So even if Valithor takes this lot out and pushes a force forward, he's just going to get nuked again. The Valithor really needs to think about taking out that nuke if he can. Aircraft can run on line command, so he could go up and around this army to get to it. Oh, the nuke has been fired. I think it's going for down here. I'm not sure if that was great value for money there. I'd have saved that one for defense, I think. But it is a lot of artillery that he could save himself having to worry about. He destroyed most of that front line. That was a good hit. Nonetheless, that will allow him some breathing space to take over some more land. I am surprised Valithor isn't doing much about this area up here. He is still sending them in one at a time. I think that's part of the problem. And he is forced to use his strikers against SAM units now. But I actually think the SAM are going to win this battle. There are a lot of strikers. But that might just be too many SAM units. Especially with the way the strikers came in. They still got to fire one at a time. Yeah, they just didn't stand a chance against those SAM units. And now, Valithor, I think, is pretty defenseless in the north. He's got a bit of defense in the south, but he's going to seriously struggle to build up those numbers again. Does make me wonder, is this going to be the time where he pulls off the big strategy down here, sending out his units? Oh, he already was. But he was mostly taking territory. Now he's pushing forward towards Hawk's base. His base. You know what I mean. He's sticking to the forest. Valithor loves the forest. It does take longer to build. And I don't know if it costs more. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But it does take longer to build it there. But if he can take out the economy, then that should give Valithor a pretty big advantage. Because as energy targets and economy, this was his vulnerable spot. So doing a lot of damage in that area would be great for Valithor in the long run. As long as he can survive the long run, because it's not looking good for him right now. It looks like Hawk is pushing back. I can't really say north and south anymore. Hawk is pushing from the middle through Valithor. And is he able to push back Valithor in... what? In the west? I had to work that out then, I don't know why. I think Valithor didn't have enough of a force over here, and he probably shouldn't be snaking it around here, because this is not a territory grab. This should be an assault. He shouldn't be trying to capture. He should be using the attack, in my opinion. This is how I would do it. Run a straight line towards this city, and one up here to get these two. Two forces split off, and I'd try and take them out. And those would be my primary objectives. Even if I didn't win, it should stop the force in the north, maybe. Maybe, that is. But it looks like... he's still got a big army down here, but mostly of infantry, so they should be easy for Hawk to deal with. If he sends some more units that way to do it. Which it looks like he is trying to organise himself a bit more. These units look like they're confused. Now we have a bit of a stalemate going on here. They're just artillery firing at each other from a distance. But the amount of SAM that Hawk has, Valithor is not going to get through that with his strikers. Not that he even has any anymore, I don't think. So, it looks like Valithor's switch was into artillery to try and defend the land. And that was pretty much it. And it's a shame that Hawk couldn't keep by his strikers, because if he did manage to save those strikers, then he'd have a good army to fight this off with, because he'd be able to take these out with just the strikers. Forcing Valithor to spend even more on a mixed army of Sam. But Valithor is sticking to the strikers. He does like his strikers. At this point, I think I'd stop production on them because he needs the money for other things, and there is a lot of Sam in that area. He's got so many Sam, they're going to take out a structure. But these strikers can't even launch now. As soon as they do, they'll come off one at a time, and these Sam will be able to be in range of them and shoot them. These artillery are pushing through, but they are going to get surrounded by this army. As they're coming in quite in a large line, so they will concave around this group. And that should be enough to stop this force coming through. And he is sending his artillery up to take out the Sam, which is great because now he's got use of these strikers again. 2 tanks up here wrecking havoc on everything. Which right now, my objective with these tanks would just be push through and hit these. Ignore those, just get the airfield. I don't know what you can see, to be honest. That is a mountain, so you can see the airfield. Does he have a rocket again? No, he stopped production on that rocket to keep his cash flow. Which he's in the negatives on. His economy is down. 1,300. What is Valithor's total economy? 1,700. So he has picked it up. Taken over the territories down here. Along with taking over most of Hawk's territory has really crippled him. Maybe it should have been a territory grab around here rather than taking out the economy over there. Looks like that was a good idea. That is a curve I don't like seeing. If I see it, I retreat. Because you won't get your forces for it. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So we've got Valithor's forces are coming through the north again. He's trying to take out the Sam. Because it looks like he's mostly defended with 3 tanks and a lot of Sam, so those artillery should be able to do a lot of damage. Down in the middle of the map, the artillery are pushing back through. He didn't seem to hold this line here like I think that's the area I said he wouldn't be able to earlier. But these artillery will be able to back up and push through again. It does look like he's got some strikers back. And some interceptors. Just in case he comes back with some air units. Battery's forgotten about them and left them going. And Valithor has built a big air army again somehow. To be fair, he's got full production of it, so it's not surprising that he can build it up so fast. And he's chipping away at the SAM units on the ground. He's got a big army down here to deal with in a bit, but I think he's evening up the numbers slowly. And I think this was just more of a nutrition game, where it is slowly chipping away at the units, which is what Hawk was doing, but Valithor was slowly chipping away at his economy. So now he can't really produce as much, and it's slowly turning in Valithor's favour maybe. Because Hawk is still running low on cash. I mean, this is all that he's captured. Now, at the end of the game, Hawk only owns this amount right now. And it looks like he's going to have to deal with this army down here with SAM units. I honestly thought not too long ago that Hawk was going to win this. He was pushing back really fast and really hitting Valithor quite hard. And now it's flipped already. And it was mostly because he did something I said he shouldn't, I think, where he caught all the territory down here instead of trying to assault the city. I think Hawk might be able to take this back, but I don't think he tries because he's going to lose the north if he focuses too much down there. And also there's not really much time left of the match. But I think this is Valithor's game. End of the match reached. Still doesn't tell me who won, but I'm pretty sure Valithor won that one. Yeah, I think that was a very interesting game. It kept flipping who was winning and who wasn't, and I wasn't sure exactly who it was. So, thank you for watching. If you like this video, there are 2 more videos on screen right now. Feel free to pick one, and I'll see you there. Also, remember to subscribe and like the video. I'll see you around.